Good afternoon, YouTube. This is Real Life Reviews. Today we're going to be reviewing the DynaGlo vertical barrel smoker. This is the signature series. Let's review it. A little background on DynaGlo is that they are part of a much larger company called the GHP Group. The GHP Group produces things like fireplaces, fireplace glass doors, fire logs, and forced air heaters, and now they're into the grilling market. So like any other real life review, we're going to go through a couple of key areas. We're going to cover those in depth, and then we'll give a recap of rating of this product at the end. So the first thing I want to talk about is the construction. So it's a barrel grill that is vertical. It has an offset smoker. So barrel smokers typically are not used for steak searing, and you start getting into damaging your unit around 550 to 600 degrees. So let's talk about the cooking surface. So this particular product boasts that it has two different styles of cooking. You can sear on it or you can smoke on it. So you can use the Firebox to the left of the unit and you can sear, but there's a real problem with that because the cooking grate and the fire grate are so close to each other. Anything that you put on that cooking grate is going to burn up really fast. You won't be able to stay on top of it. And speaking of staying on top of it, the Firebox is so low to the ground that you would really need to be on your knees virtually in order to cook off of it. So if you look in this video right here, you see how low it is to the ground and how high the surface is of my Weber Summit. So it does come with 5 chrome plated grates, in which we're going to talk about that here in a minute, but they are so close together in the design. Yes, it has 1,300 square inches. That is very impressive for a smoker. But how much can you really use at one time? If you're cooking a Boston butt or something like that, or a brisket, you cannot have all of those grates in there at the same time. You'll need to pull a few of them out in order to access it. Now, you also, because the cavity is pretty tight on the inside, you would have a hard time manipulating a large piece of meat. Maybe one grate for one rack of ribs, that might be satisfactory. If you want to do a pork belly or brisket, those may be challenging on this particular grill. So far I have smoked some chicken tenderloin and I have smoked some cuts of pork steak, and those things are just fine. It did make quite an impressive mess on the ground because in between the grates you have about that much space, and getting that food underneath those grates, it's true I could have taken the grates off on top or below or whatever and made more room, but I was just trying to see how effective it could be. It was pretty inconvenient and not living up to its standard. However, it did give a good smoke infusion flavor. That's not the question. You can do that just about on anything as long as you stay on top of it. The cooking grates it comes with are chrome plated. Now, once you smoke on chrome or you get a little bit of grease on chrome, what happens? Turns black, doesn't it? Or it starts to discolor. The chrome is really there only for a marketing piece in order to get the grill out of the store, because chrome next to black looks really good. Think about any Chevrolet out there. You got this big beautiful 2500 Silverado and you have those big 20-inch chrome wheels. My goodness, it'll make you slobber on yourself. I mean, really. You're not smoking those, well, you better not be smoking those wheels, but you're not smoking those rims in an oven, more or less. On a smoking grill, you should choose porcelain, and most of the time porcelain is black. And along these same lines is one little thing I want to revisit. The Firebox does have this little feature where you can pull out the tray. I know I talked about it just a second earlier, but you need to make sure that's real nice, and it's another marketing technique that you can pull that tray out and dump those ashes and put it right back in. But there's 2 things wrong with it. Number 1, it's pretty tough to get in and out. Number 2, it opens up a big seal. I know I said 2 things, we're going for 3. It opens up a big gap around the side of the Firebox, and you lose a tremendous amount of heat out of that Firebox. And the third one, which is the most critical, is that you only have about 3.5 to 4 hours of smoke. You do not have enough time in that Firebox without stopping and starting over to smoke a full piece of meat, like a brisket, a butt, a belly, or a ham even. You need to pay attention to that if you're going to get big into the smoking world. Just wanted to touch bases with that because that is probably not my #1 pet peeve, and it also caused this product to lose a star. It's not uncommon for smokers to have a big temperature variation. On this smoker, I'm going to say it has moderate temperature fluctuations. So I can't really get a good reading if I open up the door, but just going on the outside surface temperature, and to be fair, the temperature outside in my house, the ambient temperature was 65 consistent for the last 4 hours, and the grill had leveled itself out at 275 degrees. And it had been running that, you know, with me babying it, it had been running that for about 3.5 to 4 hours. So the outside temperature of the grill is pretty consistent. My point is that you can see on the outside of the grill how much temperature variance there is inside of this smoker. So temperature fluctuation on this grill, moderate. Let's talk about losing temperature. So it's also common on smokers to lose a little temperature. You're going to lose smoke and where the lid's not, completely closed. And this particular grill comes with latches that are on the side of it to help compress that lid down. I was quite surprised with how much this grill actually leaked smoke. Now right here I'm burning a very dirty smoke so that you can see just how bad the smoke loss is. If you can see smoke, then you're losing heat. That's no fun, that's no good. Definitely this much smoke loss, you're going to lose a star over this as well. So now we're down to 3 stars, and I'm not even counting all that stuff in the beginning, but just hear me out. So yes, you can use Lava Lock, or you can use a product like Oklahoma Joe, the Lava Lock that they sell. It's a sealer that goes around it, but my question is why buy a $400 grill if you're going to have to put $40 or $50 worth of sealant around it just to seal it and maybe double seal it again? But people who rely on this for a living, or in competition cooks, like I said, losing this much smoke is unacceptable. You're losing that much heat, and then going back around it with the red seal or whatever you have, that's totally up to you. But in my book, it's not worth it because I shouldn't have to do it. It is true that I have an Oklahoma Joe and it loses smoke, but it does not lose smoke like this. And next week when I post that review, I'll show you the fine difference in between both instruments. The heavier your steel, the less likely you are to have air gaps in your steel. For example, this grill only came in at 124 pounds, to where my other barrel Oklahoma Joe, which has half the cooking surface, it came in at 200 pounds. The wheel diameter is the same, the barrel's the same, everything on it's about the same, but the steel is heavier, therefore it loses a lot less heat and the heat is more consistent. So here's my recap. It's a vertical barrel smoker. It's advertised as a grilling and a smoking unit. It's not for grilling. They advertise it as that, but I can tell you right now, anything you put on that grill is going to burn to death within a matter of moments, and you'll have to be on your knees in order to access it, and it's not a very fun cook. It does come with heavy duty wheels because it is considered a heavy duty grill, even though it's on the lighter end, the lighter spectrum of these barrel smokers, coming in at only 124 pounds. It does have a lot of heavy duty features to it, but I would use the term heavy duty as caution. It does come with 5 chrome plated grates, but like I said, my own personal opinion, and probably yours too, they shouldn't be chrome since it's a smoker. They should be black because they're going to turn black very quickly, and they are more likely to bend under heavier amounts of weight and hotter temperatures. It's supposed to be a smoker, but you're not going to be able to get a full picnic shoulder in there. If you do, you're going to have to cut it, manipulate it some kind of way. You'd be hard pressed to get a full-blown rack of ribs on one of the grates. In this case, the overall review is 3 stars. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up, and I would encourage you to subscribe if you like things like real life reviews, DIYs, and cooks, things of that nature. So until next week with the Oklahoma Joe Barrel Smoker real life review, thanks for watching.